What's going on, y'all? How y'all feeling? All right. Before I get into this, I prayed. I'm like, yo, God, it upset me. I ain't gonna sit here and lie to y'all, man. It pissed me off. It really did. Watching this dude get up on the news again, Harry Dunn, and it's like, bruh, Trump's already back in office on the 20th, and y'all still talking about January 6th and what it could mean. So I'm gonna play this clip on Face the Nation, CBS, and listen to everything. I'm gonna stop it. I'm gonna pause it to address what he's talking about because it's ridiculous. So if y'all could, first off, can everybody hear me okay? My sound quality good? Because we about to get into this thing. I need y'all to see this. And if you could, like the video, share this video out. If you're on X, give me a repost right now so I could go ahead and, Harry Dunn from one black man to another. I'm gonna go ahead and dismiss everything that you're saying. And I'm gonna do it with grace. I'm not gonna call you out your name. I'm just gonna go ahead and, do what I do. Without further ado, please like the video, share the video. Say turn the music down. Is that down enough? I got the music low. Is that good? Okay. All right, I'm about to go ahead and play this. Check this out.
As we've been reporting, Congress certified Donald Trump's second presidential victory on Monday. But 4 years ago, it was a different scene when Trump supporters stormed the U.S. Capitol in an attempt to overturn the results of the 2020 presidential election. The Justice Department reports about 140 Capitol police officers were assaulted in the January 6, 2021 attack. At least 5 officers died in the aftermath, including 4 by suicide. CBS News polling finds 19% of American adults approve of the actions of those who forced their way into the Capitol. In 2021, one of the responding officers, Harry Dunn, told the House committee that investigated the attack that this mindset is dangerous for the future of the U.S.
One of the scariest things about January 6th.
Now, hold on before I keep going. Okay, now you see they painting the picture, right? Now, for those of you who don't know who this guy is, Harry Dunn, let me show his face. For those of you all who don't know who that is, Harry Dunn is a Capitol police officer that sat in front of the January Select Committee and talked about how the Oath Keepers was there basically inciting the crowd and calling him racial slurs, which is not true. The Oath Keepers were actually protecting him. They literally put a barrier around him with their own bodies and told people to go, leave him alone. But this man, Harry Dunn, lied. Okay? I just want to throw that out there real quick.
Is that the people that were there, even to this day, think that they were right. They think that they were right. And that makes for a scary recipe for the future of this country.
Joining us now is former U.S. Capitol Police Officer Harry Dunn. In 2023, Biden gave Dunn the Presidential Citizens Medal, the second highest civilian award, for his role in protecting the Capitol on January 6th. Harry, thank you for being here. Take us back to that day, your role that day, what you saw, and how it changed you as a person.
Sure. Well, like I said, thank you for having me on. The actions of those insurrectionists, I called them terrorists before, there was one of the most documented crime scenes in the history of America.
Now, again, the man said that we are terrorists. He called us terrorists before, which is, in my opinion, an inaccurate way to describe something like January 6th. It was not an act of terror. All right. But this is what they do. He said insurrectionists, all of that. Nobody charged with insurrection. But yeah, we're insurrectionists. We're terrorists. We're all of these things. Again, this is the same guy that stood in front of the January Select Committee and lied to Congress and lied to the American people about his experience that day. All right.
People saw what they saw. Police officers were being attacked. Police officers were being bloodied. It wasn't just about getting in there, and wandering around and taking a tour of the Capitol. Look at the video that you're showing now. That is assaulting police officers. They aren't hitting a door. They aren't hitting the wall. They're hitting police officers.
Now let me pause again. He's right. The people in that video appear to be hitting police officers. But I just want to point out that that video was way later. That video that you just seen is video after I went inside of there and then been left. All right. That was taking place after all of that. They don't show you leading up to. Right. So leading up to the event where you just witnessed, and you're going to continue to witness. So I'm going to let the whole thing play. Police officers was attacking the people. I witnessed that with my own eyes, not from the news. This is what I seen because I was there. Harry, you're watching the news, watching clips like that because you was inside. You was inside the Capitol, my bro. All right. And if you was outside and you were a part of allowing police officers, your fellow police officers, to assault people, old women, young women, old men, young men, kids was in the crowd when they were throwing flashbangs. That's a fact. There's videos. So before you start painting this narrative as if, oh, January 6th was, just a whole bunch of violent people that just wanted to stop the certification of the election, understand why they got excited in the first place. It was because you all incited. All right.
And just the fact that they talk about pardoning the individuals who are committing those violent acts right there, it's almost a gut punch. And contrast that with what we saw today. There was a lot of jubilation on the House floor. People were taking selfies, pumping fists, whereas 4 years ago today,
thank you, Michelle,
they were hiding under the chairs and had gas masks on their heads and running in fear. And this was Republicans and Democrats. It wasn't just one party. It was everybody that made up the body of Congress.
I want to get back to the idea of pardons in a second, but you become very outspoken against the Capitol attack. You testified before the House January 6th committee, publicly condemned President-elect Trump, campaigned for Vice President Harris. You ran for Congress in Maryland. How have your former colleagues reacted to you being so outspoken?
Well, it's been mixed. We let's be clear. There are a lot of people on police departments, even with the Capitol Police, that support Donald Trump. So, there's going to be a mix of people that are pushing back when you're pushing against their candidate.
Even though they're in support of the president-elect, though, they were there that day.
Now, let me point this out, Mr. Harry. Don't you find it strange that your own officers, right? A lot of them support Trump, even after January 6th. And they were there with you. And they don't feel the same way that you feel about January 6th because they don't have a political agenda. They weren't running for Congress. They didn't have any political aspirations as you did, apparently. You and the crybaby, let me not be too offensive, right? But I can't stand you guys, man, with the way that you talk about it. You and Fanon. Fanon had aspirations after as well. Book deal, all over the news, getting paid for interviews, to lie. How come the other officers ain't getting paid? How come the other officers aren't going on air and saying the things that you all are saying? Why is it y'all two, a black police officer and a police officer that, Fanon, that assaulted a whole bunch of people in the crowd that day and then got what was coming to him? You reap what you sow. He was assaulting people, got dragged out into the crowd, and didn't want to cry about it. Let's call it what it is. Both of y'all are a disgrace to that badge as far as I'm concerned. We're going to keep letting it ride.
Yeah, I was just about to say, yes, even those individuals. And it's unfortunate. Brian Snik, who lost his life because of the events of January 6th, was a Trump supporter. But he did his job that day. And they know good and well that it wasn't a day of love or peaceful protest. Now, there were people there who were peaceful.
I don't understand how you could say that Snik, rest in peace to that brother, lost his life because of the events of January 6th when he died later. I don't understand that. It wasn't linked to January 6th. So you're trying to say like emotional trauma caused him to have the complications that he had? Because y'all tried to say it was a fire extinguisher. It wasn't that. It wasn't the mace. So you're saying that it was just a emotional response to January 6th that led to him losing his life, huh? Again, y'all push these narratives that have been debunked already. That's not what happened. If that was the case, then how come Julian Cater and George Tanyos didn't get a murder charge? They tried it. They tried to hit him with the death of Snik, but it didn't stick. Why is that? Because the facts came out. And I know both of those men. I was locked up with both of them. Good men. Loved them brothers to death. And y'all tried to smear their name. And you're still doing it right now. When you say that he died to due to complications from January 6th, which is a lie. It's been debunked. But you still running around saying this stuff on the news. You're trying to put thoughts in the minds of the people for whatever reason now. Maybe because Trump's about to take office and you just, maybe your bank account's getting low and you need a little money, you know, so you get a paid interview, come on, tell some more lies. I don't know. I don't know what your motive is, but it's false and it's wrong. You're wrong for doing that. Let it keep going.
Sure. But those aren't the people that we're talking about being pardoned right now. But it's just always important for me to stand up and do the right thing. I got a lot of calls from police officers that are still currently serving today with the U.S. Capitol. And one of them said something that was prolific. Here in D.C., we got a big snow.
Said something that was prolific. I mean, not to be, too nitpicky, but prolific. You should have said profound, I think. That's what you meant. Because prolific would be like, like if I write poetry and I'm a prolific writer, that means that I write a lot. You know what I'm saying? I think you used that word wrong. Just being difficult. That's all.
Snowstorm, and they said this snowstorm is 4 years too late.
Interesting. So President-elect Trump says he wants to pardon the nearly 1,600 January 6 rioters who have been charged. He's also threatened to prosecute members of the January 6th committee, including former Representative Liz Cheney and now Senator Adam Schiff. What is your response to this? And you had just made a distinction between some of the people who entered the Capitol who weren't assaulting officers. Would you also oppose them being pardoned as well?
Well, that's the thing. You got to look at these people. They're not sitting in prisons. A lot of them were given probation or given a fine or something. Yeah, they committed a crime and the punishment fit the crime that they committed. People aren't sitting in jail for 4 and 5 years for trespassing in the Capitol. That's a false narrative. It's not even.
Okay, now I'm about to get you. You do realize that they charged people with 1512 that led to enhancements, that led to extensive prison sentences, some of which got out. Ronnie Sandlin, he got out. Timothy Hale, the 1512 was dropped on him, which they had to vacate his conviction. He was convicted, bruh, and got the time that he got because of the 1512. So when you say that people didn't get 4 years, however long, and that they only got probation, and you over here spreading lies, brother. You spreading lies. People are still in prison right now. Right now. A lot of brothers just came home because of that 1512 or are getting their sentences reduced because they were enhanced because of that 1512. So again, you're lying. Plain and simple, you're lying. It's safe to say that you're a liar, knowingly, because this is public knowledge and you're choosing to tell these lies. But, it is what it is. I get it. You got to get paid somehow.
Even accurate at all. The people that are spending multiple years in jail, with the exception to the leaders of the Proud Boys and those Oath Keepers, they committed violent acts against police officers. And that
they committed violent, and not all, I'm not going to say everybody, but everybody that I know that I speak highly about, committed acts of violence against police officers because the police officers were committing violent acts against them and the people around them. Is it right? Is it wrong? That ain't for me to judge. It happened. Cause and effect. For every action, there is an equal or opposite reaction. You hit me, I hit you back. That's how that works. I mean, everybody's going to get pardoned anyway. So you could be mad about it if you want to. But again, stop making it seem like the police was the victims. The police officers that day were not victims. The police officers that day are the same kind of police officers that, NWA made the song about. You know what I'm saying? And I stand on that. All them police officers that day that committed those acts against the American people, they're not good cops. They're the crooked cops that we talk about. I stand on that. You don't like it? That's cool. Shout out to the good police officers. I respect good police officers. I respect good people. Good people, right? And we all make mistakes. Even the police officers that did bad that day, if they rectified and got themselves correct and they're like, you know what, I did overreact. Hey, where nobody is beyond redemption, I would be, you're my brother. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, you're my brother. But people like you that come on here and lie, though I still call you my brother, I look at you with a different kind of eye, bro. You foul. You're foul. And I'm glad you're not a cop no more.
That's why they're in jail. They're not hostages. But Donald Trump it's the rhetoric that he's been saying from day one.
If they're not hostages, what are they? If they were held because of that 1512 and that was the thing that was keeping them in prison, and then that gets taken away and it's shown that it was false, you're saying that they weren't hostages? It sounds to me like they're being held hostage. What is a hostage? Somebody that is held against their will. So they're telling you I'm innocent. I didn't do what they said that I did. And they're like, you're still here. Locked up 3 years. Minimum 3 years. They're locked up. I was with them. DC DOC. And you're saying that they weren't hostages? Again, you're a liar.
That he said that he's going to pardon these individuals. He said that everything against him is a sham. It's a hoax. I mean, this isn't nothing new. He talked about Hillary Clinton.
Can you elaborate on why they're not hostages?
They committed crimes and they're serving their punishments. I mean, hostages are the people that are in missing from Israel right now. Those are hostages.
Then you just got to throw that in there, huh? You got to throw that in there. And you're right. I mean, you're not wrong. Those are hostages. That's true. But you just got to bring up Israel. See, everything about you is political. Everything. You can't tell the truth for the sake of the truth. You have to tell a lie for the sake of your politics and your pocketbook. That's what's going on with you right now, bro. I can see right through that. Talking about Israel. Cut it out, dog.
The people that are taken away from their families. These people committed crimes and they're serving a punishment for their crimes.
Again, people were falsely accused and had to be let out of prison and were taken away from their families. How you talking about a hostage is taken? They were literally taken away from their families. Some of them were taken away from their families in front of their families with brute force. I'm talking smoke bomb, tear gas through the window, door kicked in. Kids had to see all of that. I know because I've heard the stories. I was with the brothers. They told me how they got picked up. So if that's not a hostage situation, and then it comes out that they innocent later, what is it? I mean, you're calling it they're criminals. Bro, you are a joke, my brother. Or at least your ideology is. The truths that you're telling is laughable and disgusting. Straight up.
It's not the definition of being a hostage.
You told the Washington Post we have to make sure the history isn't erased. What do you mean by that? And how do we make sure that doesn't happen, particularly when we've been talking about CBS polling that shows public sentiment over what happened on January 6th has shifted quite a bit in the last 4 years?
Well, we're getting closer and closer to those individuals forgetting or whitewashing what happened that day. I mean, just as recently as today, you got members of Congress, members of the Senate that say, hey, let's move on from January 6th. And sure, I would love to move on, but not when the president the president-elect is spewing his rhetoric and falsehoods about what happened that day and what did not happen that day. It was not a day of love. It wasn't a peaceful protest. These people were there to stop the certification of the election because Donald Trump told them to. And that's not my opinion of the situation. Those are what they told us as they were attacking us, as they were storming the Capitol.
And we heard a lot of that. Just move on from January 6th.
I just got a question, My question to Mr. Harry Dunn is, how do you know that the people that were I can't tell you that they weren't telling you that, right? Because I wasn't there with you. But we do know that there was at least 26 FBI agents in the crowd that day. How do you know that there wasn't the FBI agents that you were talking to that was saying these things to you? Just throwing that out there. You're assuming that you can't say the Oath Keepers said that to you because they didn't. They were protecting you. Which you lied about that, but they were there protecting you. So how do you know that it wasn't the FBI agents that was telling you these things to try to push this narrative, to drive this narrative that you're still spewing? You don't. Yet you're on here talking like you do. Harry, I just wanted to come on real quick and just go over your little video. You know, that's all. You're a liar. I don't know if you're knowing on purpose, or if you're lying on purpose, knowing what you're saying is false, or you really have believed this thing now, or if it's just for your money. I don't know. All I can say is that you're lying. I know you're lying. You know you're lying. You got to know you're lying, especially with some of the things that you said that is not factually. It's out there in the public eye. With that, I'm going to be praying for you, brother. I'm going to be praying for you, man. Real talk. You should get like your other officers that do support this country and you know, they support President Trump and what he's trying to do with the country. And yeah, that's it. That's all I got. That's all I wanted to come on here and do real quick. Is just a reaction to this. Harry, I got so much I want to say to you, but I'm really trying to walk this line with God, man. I really am. I want to call you so many names right now, brother. My flesh does. But my spirit, man, that's what's keeping me back right now. I'll tell you. There's so much I want to say to you, bro. But instead, I'm just going to say, God bless you. God bless you, bro. And I hope you get it together. I'm out. Unite. Don't fight. Be a street light, because only you can be the change we see in the world. And when you get too stressed out, you got to remember to pray, America, because without God, everything falls apart. Free the J6s. Free them all. Every single one of them, even the ones I disagree with. Free them all. Bring them home.